Hey folks, welcome to Whiskey Whistle. I'm the host of the show, Mark, and you're watching review number 202. That's right, it's not a whiskey review, it's a cognac review here on the channel. Hennessy X.O. That's right, it's Hennessy X.O. on Whiskey Whistle. Alright, now I'm so happy that I was able to get this miniature at duty free when I purchased, well, a product from the same company, a little product known as Glenmorangie Signet. And well, he wasn't supposed to have given me this one. He should have given me the Glenmorangie 10-year-old. But I blinked my eyes a couple of times, and well, he said, well, okay. And he gave me a nice sample of the Hennessy X.O. So very excited about that. Certainly not my first time having the X.O. My father absolutely loved cognac until recently. Now he's kind of switched over to single malts as well. So that's interesting. But he still has a nice collection of cognac at home. And this would have been one of his favorites. This one and another one called... what was it called? Deleuze was the name of it. Is the name of it. I see that. I want to get one because it is quite nice. Now I'm going to get that poured, and I'm going to start with the Glencairn glass. And as you can see, I've got two other glasses on the table. We've got a brandy snifter right there, and then I've got a Capito. This is from Highland Park, but that's okay. So we'll try to use them all and compare the smells, see if there's any difference there. So first of all, let's get that poured into the Glencairn glass. Here we go. I think that's a good start. What a color! That's quite dark. That would be up there with the darkest of whiskeys that I've ever seen, and definitely kind of like a mahogany shade. Let's have a look at that on some white background here. So have a look at that. Very dark. It's got a slightly reddish tinge to it, and well, I forget all of the little tidbits about cognac, but there's only a couple kinds of wood that they can use for it. One of those is called Limousin. The other one, I'm not sure the name of the particular wood or the region where the wood comes from. And very fruity, and yet also I can smell that distinct European oak, that French oakiness. Now, I wouldn't know the age of this. However, XO, for those of you who don't know, XO means extra old, and actually XO is a term that was created by the House of Hennessy. So that's pretty cool. So they created the term. That was to put on whiskeys that were meant for his friends and family. Anyway, so XO was coined by the Hennessy Company, and I believe it means minimum of 6 years to get the XO certification. And Hennessy is not a distiller per se. They might own some distilleries, that I don't know. If you know, let me know. But apparently this is a blend of over 100 what are called eau de vie. Eau de vie, my friends, well, this is the same meaning as the water of life. And in France, eau de vie means basically kind of like the raw spirit. Okay, so it's a blend of over 100 different white spirits of cognac that are aged So we can think of that as a blending of possibly 100 different distillers, types of cognacs, or 100 different ages, 100 different casks that are blended together. Anyway, they exceed a total of 100, whether from the same distillery or from multiple distilleries. And these could very likely be going back in time many a generation. Anyway, could this be 6 years old? My nose tells me no. My nose tells me this is definitely not that young. All right, well, let's get on to the nosing for this one. We'll have a short word from the YouTube sponsors right here. Welcome back. Review 202, Hennessy X.O. My second cognac on the show, and my first, second, third. Yes, my third brandy. And again, for people who maybe don't know, cognac is made from grapes, and fruit that is mashed and then distilled becomes a white spirit, which is aged in wood and thus becomes brandy. So you can make orange brandy, plum brandy, apple brandy, strawberry brandy, I guess. Any fruit can make a brandy. Unless it's mentioned, however, usually brandy means it's grape brandy. So if it's apricot brandy, it should say apricot brandy. If it's apple brandy, it should say apricot brandy, or a name of a particular region or style, like Calvados from France, or what's it called in England? There's a apple brandy maker. I forget the name of it. I think it's just, is it just called cider brandy? Anyway, on to the nose. Cheers. Cheers? Well, anyway, whatever. All right, let's check out that nose. Definitely cognac. Okay, no doubt. I can smell the fresh grapes, but imagine grapes that are perfectly ripe, and you take them home, and they're so ripe that the ones on the bottom split, and you get some juice running out. And if you don't clean it up quickly, then it becomes sticky. Anyway, it kind of smells a little bit like that. There's also some florals in here as well. A bit of sunflower. Sunflower and just some nice simple daisies. And what else am I smelling? Some rich caramels. There's a hint of coffee in here too, and that's quite interesting. And the smell of dark chocolate when you open the package. But imagine a dark chocolate with raisins and maybe some nuts in there. Kind of like Cadbury's Fruit and Nut, but a dark variety. Do they make that? No, no leather. A little bit of old book type of a smell. Some spices like nutmeg. Yeah, lots of nutmeg, virtually no straight cinnamon. Perhaps some cardamom. Okay, well, I think it's time to taste this now. So, cheers everyone, and thank you to that fine gentleman at Gimpo Airport in Seoul. Thank you for gifting me that one. It's very, very smooth. No sharpness whatsoever. No strong alcohol type of a burn at all. It's rich. Chocolate and honey. Some roasted cashew nuts. Nutmeg is still in there. Almost kind of an eggnog flavor. The raisins, rich raisins. Dark, fresh, sticky raisins. There's a little bit of that leatheriness in the palate, which you might expect from licking a very darkly tanned and classically stained nice leather sofa. And the finish, a bit of dryness, not very much, but that nicely balances out the sweetness. There's still toffees and raisins, chocolate, a little bit more coffee now than before, and yeah, pretty long finish. All right, let's pour a little bit more into the brandy snifter, the cognac glass. Not much left of that. This is 40%, by the way. It's pretty hard to get cognac higher than 40%. Now, probably that's changing. I think that the whiskey industry has had great influence on the cognac industry. You could say that, let's say 10 odd years ago, definitely 20 years ago, probably for the high end, cognac may have outsold whiskey at that time. And now it's very much the opposite. And not just a little bit, but I think quite a big difference between those two industries. But I think also the cognac industry is experiencing a little bit of a rise in sales. Now, with a bigger opening, when you look at the two types of glasses, so a much wider evaporation area on the cognac glass. the Glencairn has a much smaller area for evaporation to occur. That will give you a much stronger scent. And if I were to compare the two of these, I'm getting more of the darker notes here, like the toffee and the chocolate, whereas with the bigger opening, I'm getting a little bit more of the fruit. Yeah, a little bit more of that bright fruit scent coming through here. All right. Is there any difference in the palate? Probably not, but let's check. The one difference that may happen is that I should get more liquid over the sides of my tongue rather than just in the center. It does influence how well you perceive the sweetness. It tastes a little bit sweeter here than there. I think it's hitting more of the front of my tongue, whereas the Glencairn does a good job of delivering a little bit more whiskey towards the center and the back of your tongue. Same great finish. All right, let's try the Capito. Look at that, I'm going all in, eh? Now, that might be the most elegant. And you can get some nice cognac sort of fluted Capitas that are a little bit more like this than that. And this one also, I'm getting a little bit more of those darker tones. And interestingly, in this one I can smell a little bit of that leather. And if you hear a noise of something walking, that's because my dog is walking around aimlessly. Rocky, what are you looking for? What are you looking for? Come here. Come. Come on. All right. There you go. You smell that one? That's cognac. That smell okay? You like your scotch, don't you? Rocky's a whiskey dog. What can I say? Okay, sit down. All right. Definitely the most elegant glass. And it's nice that you don't have to touch the part of the glass that holds the volume. So if you like to keep your cognac at a regular temperature, that would be a nice one. If you want to do the classic heating, then you're going to need something like the brandy snifter. And warm that up in your hand a little bit. Let's see what happens if I warm it up a little bit in my hand. Meanwhile, I'm going to try a little taste of this in the Capito. That's the narrowest at the opening, and having it sent more towards the center and back of my throat. I get a little bit more of the dryness of this this cognac, so that is interesting. Okay, getting there. I don't know how warm you should get it, but let's see what happens. So what kind of cognacs have you tried? Well, so far on the channel anyway, I've only had the Tesseron Lot 29 and this one. I'd like to try the other Tesserons because I think that there could be some really, really nice value in those younger ones, which are still 20 some odd years old. I have not tried, what is it called? It's got a cat image. I can't pronounce the name. It looks like MEKOW. Alright, let's see how that smells. Much sweeter, obviously. A little bit more of the fruitiness. Raisins, golden raisins too. And a little bit more of the eau de vie, the actual spirit coming through when you warm it up in your hand. Okay. It gives you a much sweeter event. I can't say it's better. I think my favorite of these three is going to be the Capito, followed by the Glencairn, and then finally the Cognac Snifter. I feel like I really get much more nose, much more age also. I'm noticing more of the age here with this one. And with this one, a little bit more of the chocolatey sweetness. Isn't that interesting? So, well, that is Hennessy X.O. So we'll have a very short word from the YouTube sponsors, followed by the WhiskyWhistle Whiskey Score. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Let's get on to the WhiskyWhistle Cognac Score. Well, the whiskey... Anyway, we'll call it the WhiskyWhistle Cognac Score for Hennessy X.O. What is that going to be? It's very good. It's pretty expensive. However, it's still not astronomical. So when you think about what is in there and the fact that I think it's around about $200 and something, seems like that's been the price of XO for the last so many years. It might be a little bit more now, I'm not sure. Anyway, yes, it's 40%. On the other hand, it is a good mix of really, really old stocks and probably some younger stocks, but definitely nothing. I think there's nothing less than about 15 years in there, I would say. That's my guess. So when you think about that one, then you're getting some good value here. So for a score, I think I'm going to go with 87 out of 100, and that is the WhiskyWhistle Cognac score for Hennessy X.O, 87 out of 100. Now, a little bit of history here, just to close out the show. It was founded in 1765, much older than a lot of the Scottish whiskey companies. The Filiu family has been taking care of the blending since 1786. My goodness, 8 generations of direct Filiu descendants have overseen the aging and blending of Hennessy cognacs, including Jan Filiu, master blender of today. That's pretty amazing. Great job to Hennessy and to LVMH, the parent company. So hope you enjoyed that one. More whiskey coming up. Hopefully more cognac very soon. Well, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. Don't forget to subscribe right over here. And also remember my Twitter account, Instagram, and Facebook at WhiskyWhistle. Or just search for WhiskyWhistle in the search bar. Add me. You can tag me in your photos. Send me some information. Do you write a blog? Tell me what you've written and send it to me. I'd love to read it. So we'll see you for the next one. That'll be another whiskey. What'll it be? Stay tuned. Goodbye.